that's the ask. As a bank, you're toast. And one person familiar with the situation asking me the hypothetical question tonight, what prevents runs on a whole bunch more banks next week? Unclear. It is an important moment, and tonight the Deputy Treasury Secretary, Wally Adeyemo, is trying to calm fears in an exclusive interview with CNN.
Federal regulators are paying attention to this particular financial institution, and that when we think about the broader financial system, we're very confident in the ability, in the resilience of the system.
Listen. Let me show y'all something. If there's one thing that I don't trust, is a black man without a lineup, no mustache, and no beard. Trying to instill, listen, I know y'all think that we a whole fool. You don't even think we a half a fool. You think we a whole fool. You not gonna put no black man in front of me with no mustache and no beard and try to tell me that everything is okay. I know you lying to me now. This is what we call being street smart. You don't have to be book smart. You don't have to go to college for this. This is what we call being street smart. You're not going to put a black man in front of me with no lineup, no beard, no mustache, and then have him talking calmly to me, talking about we have trust in the system and we're going to stay. Fam, listen, now I'm really going to panic and make some adjustments. Look at this man. You telling me that a black man that worked himself up to be the CEO of a company with no mustache, not a hair in sight on his face, is going to sit there and try to instill consumer confidence in me? Listen, I know we don't believe in stereotypes, but fuck what you talking about. I know a finesse when I see one. Listen, have y'all ever seen, I did this show on Fight Club one time, and this white man tried to pull this black man up there that talked like this to Anton. Some of y'all was at Fight Club that night. And he was talking like this to me. And he said, listen, I've been in the hood. I've been raised in the inner cities. And he didn't know who I was, right? And he said, I've been raised in the inner cities of the streets. I come from that background. Now, I have nothing against people that talk proper. I believe having proper English is necessary. But you're not going to force me to ignore different dialects and how people communicate within certain environments. If you're from Baltimore, I know you're from Baltimore. I can hear it in your lingo. If you're from the New York area, even if you over in New Jersey, I can hear it on you. If you're from down south, I can hear it on you. If I hear a dude that walk up to me say, what up, cuz? What up? It's a strong possibility you over there in the Los Angeles greater area. And you're not over there hanging with Aaron either. So when that dude came up on the panel on Fight Club and he said, hey guys, and listen, I'm trying to recruit you for the Build Back Better on the Block plan. And I get it. Even though I may talk like this, I'm from the inner city and I know what the hood looks like. And I was looking at him and everybody else was getting finessed. And I was looking at him and I said, what hood you from? I'm from the inner hard streets of Detroit. Now, I said, look at God helping me save my people from getting finessed. I said, where you from? I'm from the inner hard cities of Detroit, specifically Highland Park. I said, this man just ran into a buzzsaw and he know not what of what he do. I said, oh yeah, you from Highland Park, right? He said, yeah, I'm from Highland Park. Now, Highland Park in Detroit is much different than Highland Park over there in Illinois, all right? I said, yeah. I said, what part? Just outside of 6 Mile. So you from 6 Mile, huh? Outside of 6 Mile. Born and raised? Sounded just like a weak Obama. I said, some of y'all remember this. I said, what school did you go to? Sterling Heights Academy of Fine Arts and Business Communication. I said, oh yeah, Sterling Heights. I said, you know Sterling Heights is in Oakland County, right? Yeah, but I said, you know that Highland Park is in Wayne County, right? I mean, I said, now you know that the average household income in Highland Park, because I'm from Detroit. He didn't know I was from Detroit. Then he froze up. The average household income in Highland Park is a city within a city. It's a city within Detroit. I said the average household income in Highland Park is $13,000 a year. Today. No, listen. The average household income in Highland Park is $13,000 a year. It is quite possibly one of the poorest cities in the United States of America. The Sterling Heights School that he went to, you know what the average household income over there? They don't let Wayne County students just go over to Oakland County. It's $13,000 for the average household income, not individual. Household income is $13,000 in Highland Park. It is the mud. I mean, it is, don't roll through there with your windows down. It is a possibility if you stop at a light, you will get robbed. You will get robbed. How do I know this? First of all, I used to hang over in Highland Park because we used to catch the bus. We used to catch the Hamilton bus down 7 Mile in order to go to high school when I went to Cass Tech because we had to go through there. We had to go through Highland Park. And then my mans that was catching the Hamilton bus from Cass Tech, he used to get off of school there. And so I would go over there and I hang in his hood. And he said, Anton, listen, let me introduce you to some people because I don't want you walking through here without me. And so I became intimately familiar with how bad it was over there. And we had this guy over here talking about he went to Sterling Heights, and then I just exposed him and we went down there. That's what I see here. This is what I see here. I see a man that is finessing y'all and trying to help y'all. They said that we're going to put a ghoul black man in front of y'all and going to finesse y'all and to believe in that we should have more confidence in the banking system. Let's hear what he got to say.
Allison Greenberg is out front.
In the resilience of this institution, and that federal regulators are paying attention to this particular financial institution, and that when we think about the broader financial system, we're very confident in the ability, in the resilience of the system.
Do y'all trust Wally? This man's name is Wally. Let me make sure I got the right name.
When we think about the broader
Wally
financial system, we're very confident in the ability, in the resilience of the system.
I don't trust Wally as far as I can throw him. Wally is finessing y'all.
Allison Greenberg is out front. She is the CEO of Ruth Health. It's a maternity care startup that has money deposited in Silicon Valley Bank. So, Allison, thank you very much.
Hey, I see Nadia, you caught it, didn't you? Those from Detroit know that Highland Park don't even go to 6 Mile. Highland Park don't even it don't go past 6 Mile. Actually, I'm sorry, he didn't say 6 Mile. He said he was from 7 Mile. He was from between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. Now, those of us that have never been to Highland Park and understand Detroit intimately know that Highland Park don't go past 6 Mile. It doesn't go past 6 Mile. That is the line that keeps Highland Park contained. 7 Mile was already back in Detroit. You caught it. You caught it. Let's continue.
Thanks for being with me. So you are right in the middle of this. Let's just start with when you realized you're a startup. You've got money at this bank.
Shout out to my
You're using
dog
that money
Chef.
to make
I'm reading
payroll
Super
and
Chats
other things.
shortly.
When did you find out something was wrong?
So my co-founder, Audrey Wu, and I received an email from one of our seed investors. The email seemed cryptic. It was strange. It was urgent. It was not like the other emails he sends. And we were in meetings, we run a busy maternal health startup. We have so many concerns every day that this email just didn't make sense. So a few hours later, I called the investor and I said, hey, what was this email about? He was out of breath, like he had just run a marathon. And he said, take your money out of SVB, go into your account, take your money out as soon as possible. And, as a business owner, my co-founder, Audrey, and I constantly think about two things. We think about our team, the people we employ and their families, and we think about our patients.
And your money. And your money. Let's continue.
There's the new moms and the families that we support and their families. And so for us, it was do this now or else.
Okay, and this was what, yesterday or the day before?
That is insider information. That's literally insider information. Listen, the people that know, the people that's connected, they already had a lineup on. For y'all, listen. For you guys, you don't have a chance in hell. You don't have a chance in hell because you don't even do the thing that's going to give you the information to make informed decisions. You don't have a chance in hell of competing against the big boys. The person that I sat next to on the plane yesterday, that dude was so knowledgeable. We both are having a conversation about how to be able to leverage each other's network and leverage each other's business capabilities in order, and some of y'all looked at my other video on the other channel, so you already know, leveraging each other in order to make even more money. You have no clue. No clue. You have no chance to be able to compete against these type of people. They already know. They know 3 days before you even get the information, and then you're going to be lining up at the bank trying to get your money out, and the police going to be stopping you like, listen, fam, take your ass home and hope that Biden be able to give you a bailout.
Before?
This was yesterday between the hours of noon and 3 p.m.
Okay, yesterday between the hours of noon and 3 p.m. you get this. So then you do it. You go and you and
now this is, you got to remember, this video is not 24 hours old. This video is older. Okay.
how does that happen? They actually give you the money? I mean, these are the 3 hours before the world fell apart. So what happened then?
Well, we were in
3 hours before the world fell apart. This woman, now one thing we can count on women to do is have a diarrhea of the mouth because they want to be able to get visibility on TV. 3 hours before the world fell apart, she already had the line on y'all. She already had the line on y'all.
incredibly lucky to have that news early from an investor. We didn't withdraw the money immediately. You know, we're conscientious business owners. We spoke to a few other investors. We spoke to friends. I mean, this is like calls going off the hook for the last 36 hours. When we felt confident that this was going to be a crisis, Audrey acted fast. And this is the kind of fear that actually incites focus.
She didn't say herself acted fast. She said Audrey acted fast. She gave him that. One thing we know about white people, they don't live by the same rules as niggas. Now, it's a difference between black people and it's a difference between niggas. White people don't play by the same rules. You're always going to be at a disadvantage because they got a whole nother set of principles and they don't go by the whole no snitching, no telling. She says, and listen, Audrey acted fast. Audrey acted fast. Unprovoked. They not lining themselves up for you. They got a whole new set of rules.
Drew the money through transfers and wires as soon as possible. I mean, she was withdrawing small amounts, big amounts, just to not set off an AI that might limit our withdrawals. And we were able to remove, this was not our only bank account, but we were able to remove the majority of the funds so that what was left when the website crashed was below the $250,000 FDIC.
Right, so you have money there, and I know and the FDIC.
So they think about it. Think how strategic. Listen, this is why I said white women are beating black women. I know that this is completely unrelated to the stream as far as, but I see things all the way across the board. Listen to what she's saying. They strategically made calls before the site crashed, withdrew smaller and did wires and everything like just enough because they already knew the threshold. If you go to the casino, right? If you go to the casino, there's a threshold. Let's say I go, I went and I won last time I went to the casino, I won like $9,000, right? I cashed in for 10 and you know what I'm saying? I had 19 when I was walking out or when I left the table. And there's a threshold on which they make you fill out a 1099 and they make you give your card in order to show that, hey, this is how much you withdrew. They make a phone call over to the pit boss and they say, hey, was he really playing at that table and so on and so forth. But it's only based off of a certain limit and a certain type of chips that you take up there. Now, everybody that's ever been played at that high enough limit knows this. Now, that's much different. And one of the reasons why I've always brought cash is because it's much different than what we would call getting a line. Now, a line is that you don't have to bring any money over to the casino because they've already, know, and they've already verified that you have this amount of money or you generate this amount of money. And you could just basically take out a loan and say, and it's no interest. And you take out a loan and say, hey, give me a line for $10,000 on this table, and then have it, and you just sign the paperwork. They give you $10,000 in chips. Now, the line is that you have to pay the money back, but they also can more effectively track what it is that's going on. But when you're working with chips and you're working with a certain type of chips, which is one of the reasons why they always at the casino table tell you, hey, do you want to cash in those chips? Because it's a stronger possibility that they're going to catch you at the cage to be able to verify exactly how much you made so that they can then tax you and send a tax form at the end of the year in order to make sure that the IRS get they cut. Happens all the time. So most of the time, most of the people that I know just hold on to the chips. They don't care about the cash. They just keep the chips. And then they slowly but surely cash in the chips when they come here, come there, they go to the dinner, and then they go into the high limit room and they cash in some chips because they understand. And that's the same thing that these white women do. And they do it to y'all when it comes to y'all relationships. They do it when it comes to banking. And they got the inside track on everything because they're very strategic. She did enough to where they didn't set off the limit, and they withdrew enough just to meet under the $250,000 threshold. Now, why is that important? Because the FDIC only insures you up to $250,000, which is one of the reasons why Biden came online and they started to reinsure consumer confidence, because they don't want y'all running to the banks and losing confidence in the banks because they don't feel like you're going to get your money out. She did it just enough to where she knew for a fact she would be covered by FDIC insurance up to that $250,000 threshold. They planned it out, they executed it, and by the time that you found out about it, these good white women was already on top of it. Already on top of it.
In terms of, because the amount, I mean, obviously you had a lot more than that there. You were able to get that out. The amount that you have that's insured now by the FDIC, the $250,000, your understanding is you're going to get that pretty much right away.
What we're hearing is by Monday.
Okay, so that I think that should give people calm. The FDIC, if you're under the limit, it gives you is holding strong on this. So Barron's is reporting that the CEO, Greg Becker, I just mentioned him. I know you weren't on that call, but he had that call.
Listen,
that he sold nearly $3.6 million in stock less than 2 weeks ago. That's obviously worth zero tonight. I know you don't necessarily.
Listen. The CEO, listen to what's being communicated right here. This is how the game is being played on a much higher level when y'all sitting here arguing over scraps on the table. Y'all sitting here being distraction by abortion laws, what's going on in Ukraine, how many women is being fucked over here, and who's having whose baby. Y'all so distracted. And this is what I said. I said, Anton, I'm not going to be distracted no more. I'm going to start having conducive conversations that add as much value into my people as possible. Y'all being distracted by all of this stuff, and y'all wondering why YouTube just let it fly. The CEO took out 3.5, completely liquidated his position in the bank. $3.5 million in stock 2 weeks before the bank collapsed. The CEO liquidated their position 2 weeks before the stock collapse to the tune of $3.5 to $3.6 million. And you think, wait, you don't think all of his friends knew what was happening too? Man, y'all out of control.
The circumstances of that, and I'm not trying to say it was nefarious, I'm just saying, what's your reaction when you hear that?
Erin, my reaction is that this is so much bigger than a bank. I run a nationwide telehealth company. We serve, prenatal and postpartum patients. I have friends in healthcare tech, in financial tech, in property tech. All of us see the impact on human life. And so for us, a call with the CEO of the bank is not our first priority. Our first priority is securing those funds and making sure we can meet payroll on the 15th.
Let me tell you something. 2 weeks prior to the collapse of the bank, he already knew. Before he started giving you that hard speech about, hey, have confidence in the bank and all of this other type of stuff, man, he don't care. Listen, 2 weeks is enough time. Y'all can't even sell no weight out here in these streets. These people are literally collapsing the entire economy. They're collapsing the entire economy. He sold his position in the bank, completely liquidated. That position is worth zero now, but he got his money out. Now, within 2 weeks, how easy How much time do you really need to move 3.5 million? I could tell you, less than 3 business days. Less than 3 business days, you can move millions of dollars in less than 3 business days, especially if you have the position that's able to say, yo, this is the type of money that I make. This is the amount of money that flows back and forth through my bank accounts. It sets off no red flags. No red flags whatsoever, because he has the prestige, he has the position, and he's able to move big amounts of money. And he did it 2 weeks before you ever even knew about it. And yes, it is insider trading. Yes, it is insider trading. But here's the caveat to it though, right? The burden to prove that he actually did it is on you. It's on the justice system. He can say, I didn't know nothing. What can you say? Again, I asked this question yesterday. How many banking CEOs went to jail as a result of the 2008 collapse? I'll answer it for you. 1. The housing market and the banking system collapsed. 2008, one CEO, one banking executive, only one. He was a sacrificial lamb, and he didn't even do that much time. Went to jail as a result of everybody getting rich off of you and your parents and your grandparents losing a home. 1. The burden of proof is still going to lie on you to substantiate that he didn't even know that the bank was going to collapse, because it was 2 weeks before when he liquidated his position. The burden of proof is going to lie on you in order to be able to come up with that. And you know what? You know what 2008 did? To be honest with you, it it made it easier, because everybody learned how not to communicate in order to get in trouble. No emails, no WhatsApps, no signals, none of that. We not doing any. You want to talk to me? They operated just like the mob.